Taking a look at the picks and bans, first map is going to be Deep Embrace, ZenAku with the Strog, Raisy with the Anarchy. Second map will be ZenAku's pick, Awoken, Raisy with the Visor, ZenAku with the Sorlag. Okay, that's a fun one. Third map will be ZenAku's favorite map, apparently, Ruins of Sarnath, Nyx versus Clutch. Okay, the last two maps are going to be very fun to look at.
Yeah, the Ruins one as well. I spoke about it yesterday. Of course, everyone who's not familiar, I think everyone knows that Raisy does use Clutch more than times than not on Awoken. But the fact, and I did mention before that on rare occasions we do see it on Ruins, and it could throw ZenAku off a little bit. Of course, he knows about his Clutch and Awoken now and again
to top
on
it off,
Ruins, but with the Nyx,
skill
it's interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's
the respect ban going in,
and that's also one of his favorite champions as well. And I think he just doesn't want to take the risk.
Yeah, when you're at this stage, you cannot take the risk. You just have to ban your opponent's best champions. That's what he did. But ZenAku is also really good with the Nyx. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of these three maps. As the first map, I don't really see any clear advantage. I'm glad to see Anarchy is coming out a little bit more of a meta pick in like Deep Embrace, because it's been like more about the slash and the strong, but Anarchy is also really strong there. I think Raisy will show us what he has in store with it.
I'm sure he will. I just want to go to the third map as well, hopefully, if you see how he does with the Clutch. But we are underway. The first winners semi-finals between Raisy and ZenAku. This will be a best of three, kicking things off on Deep Embrace. We'll be starting off from Raisy's perspective, going with the Anarchy. And now we can see exactly how he's going to go. He's going to pick up the rocket straight away. It takes a little bit of LG damage to begin with.
Oh, ZenAku coming for the Mega. Very aggressive start by ZenAku, trying to put pressure on the Mega, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't really have any weapons, so it doesn't quite work as he wanted. Does pick up the LG eventually. Not sure if he'll be able to contest for this heavy. He's trying, but Raisy has the position, even though he doesn't have the stack. He has a position in the weaponry, so it's much easier for Raisy to hold.
Certainly is indeed. Raisy does manage to pick up the heavy.
Oh, wow.
And Mega will be up in the next few seconds. It depends who gets a better position. Raisy definitely is at the moment, but seeing if he can get a little bit more damage done before he picks up the Mega. But this is looking much better than what we expected at the very beginning.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna be playing very aggressively or not. I can see Raisy trying to, chip away ZenAku's stack to then make a push, but without chipping away ZenAku's stack, he's not going to try and do anything too aggressive just yet.
No, not yet at all. Still has his inject in the back pocket. Raisy with his huge stack. ZenAku just trying to keep his distance for the time being. Comes straight in with the LG. ZenAku just trying to back away, using the Pika to do a amount of damage, but in the end...
He misses the rail. That's a not miss for Raisy. ZenAku realizing that he has an opening. Unfortunately for him, Raisy was too quick on the weapon switch, and he should be able to get a clean Mega health pickup.
Yeah, instead of using the Pika to collapse onto him, he's trying to be a bit greedy to do a bit more damage instead. Goes up to the top, good rocket there.
Good steal though by ZenAku. Somehow he still manages to live long enough to get that heavy. And this might allow him to push at the Mega in 10 seconds. Let's see what his position is. Good rail by ZenAku, and he switches for the right weapon, gets the light armor, and now he should be able to collect the Mega health as well.
Yeah, he only needed 3 more ticks of damage with the LG to clean that up, and he certainly did as well, just in range. Mega's still up though, has been delayed just a little bit, but Raisy should be in position to see the audio cue, and does pick it up, but he's prepared for the heavy anyway. So ZenAku in good form right now, just standing his ground.
A good decision there by ZenAku. Instead of going lower and losing the high ground position with a Mega, he decided to let Raisy take it, tried to land a couple of rails, unfortunately couldn't land any, but he put himself in a good position to stay at the heavy side and pick it up without any risk. Very risk-free gameplay from both players.
He does have that Pika for additional damage or for information, but it doesn't need the info as of yet. Knows exactly the whereabouts of what Raisy's up to. Good use of the tribot, knowing that Raisy's potentially going to go for that light. Going to be delaying the heavy, which is good so far, to try and throw Raisy off in terms of timing, but he's directly underneath, so that's not going to help him too much, but still ZenAku with a slight stack. But now Raisy just trying to hold the high ground at the moment, just trying to keep his distance, just trying to decide how and when to go about doing some chip damage onto Raisy. But a missed rail there from Raisy, sadly, but ZenAku still knows exactly where he is, waiting for him to jump on up. It took a little bit of damage from that last rocket from Raisy, but this is the thing though, ZenAku's got positional advantage at the moment. LG comes out, but a nice little 52 from the last rocket as the Mega is up. He backs away, and is going to see if he can do a bit more before he picks up the Mega. Realizes it is still there as Raisy is now gone for the heavy instead.
Yeah, Raisy is trying to turn the game around because he realized he's starting to miss out on position and free damage because ZenAku was shooting the heavy. But Raisy juking him, going for the heavy himself, and now Raisy might be able to get this kill. That was very close. The injection does save Raisy in the end and gets the second kill. Both players playing really well, and the game seems to be a lot more in favor of high ground position than items or damage so far.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot of mind games with the items as well. Raisy just directly underneath. Nice amount of damage with the peak, but still manages to stay alive. Ties things up as ZenAku's now managed to make it 2 apiece. Mega's up as well, and Raisy's trying to catch him whilst he's going for the Mega. As even though ZenAku did pick it up, both of them are still on a similar stat. But this is looking good for ZenAku at the moment, even though Raisy's still kind of back away. He does have the inject though.
ZenAku now, he wants to get there, but he doesn't know how to get there without taking much damage, so he'll just take the railgun and collect some other items instead. I'm really enjoying how these players are playing very risk-free gameplay, but also pressuring the opponent a lot. There are no free frags in this one.
No, not at all. Just trying to hit a couple of rails here from top mid. Realises it's gone around to the shotty area. Still holding the high ground, and this is what I like about ZenAku, consistently having that positional advantage. And the problem is, though, he's not in position to pick up that heavy. He's up in the next 5 seconds. Take that last rail, and still needs to back away again. But recovered very quickly, still back to his default stack. Heavy has been picked up by Raisy, but that was a fantastic tri-bolt there. Mega's going up in the next few seconds, but it depends who's going to win this little scuffle with the LG. Backs away again, and Raisy with a slight disadvantage of stack, but he's in position for that Mega.
That was really aggressive from Raisy. Like, he took the... Oh, he's coming up. I put personal for a fight. ZenAku is the one landing the damage, but Raisy keeps pushing because he's the one collecting the items. ZenAku does no damage with the picker. Heavy up soon, and Raisy actually misses his jump. ZenAku went, oh, just a little bit of damage. Oh, and he catches him in the air.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
The shot was available, he almost hit it.
The thing is though with Zen as well, he's not picking up the items, but he's doing so much damage during the conflicts they have when they're contesting the items. It's not really helping him too much. Good rail there from Raisy just to keep ZenAku back a little bit, but he's going to continue the aggression and to try and trap Raisy if he can before he heads to that heavy. Heavy's up in 5 seconds. Still got the tri-bolt there, just trying to do a little bit more damage with that heavy machine gun. And he's actually put himself in prime position to get this heavy. Mega's up in 10 seconds, and ZenAku now's got plenty of time to contest this and get positional advantage if he can.
Yeah, there is. Oh, it's going to be now finally a frag for ZenAku if he decides to drop onto Raisy. He knows he's overstacking him a little bit. Now with the Mega, he should be able to get a clean frag. Nope. Oh my god, that shot! What was that?
Wasn't a bad little flick, was it there, Winston? Considering the position he was in at the moment, and he's still going back around and seeing if he can try and clean up Raisy. Oh, only a 4 from that last shotgun. Will he be able to do it? Another 20 on top of things.
Who can get the kill at this point?
Yeah, he was thinking. I thought that was going to be a guaranteed kill there, depending on how good his aim was going to be with a shotgun, but sadly didn't do the damage he would like. But Mega is still up. Has been delayed a little bit. Neither player's going for it as of yet. Prioritizing the kill instead. Oh. Good rail there coming out from Zen. But the problem is Raisy isn't reliable anymore. Probably is after that last little rocket, but
that rail really saved ZenAku. If it wasn't for that, Raisy would be up ahead with yet another frag. Raisy getting that heavy though. ZenAku needs to be a little bit careful right now. He's trying to get a good position, using those sound cues perfectly to keep giving himself the best positioning possible. I'm really enjoying ZenAku's positional gameplay.
Yeah, such a low frag game for a deep embrace matchup, but neither player is leaving, you know, very little room for error, and he's going to be in position there. Good
ZenAku can contest this. Oh, he decides to go away. I don't think he had perfect timing on the heavy, so he decides to just go away instead of potentially getting in a messy situation. And both stacks are even right now. Raisy trying to be aggressive. The second rocket, thankfully for ZenAku, does not land, but he's doing so much damage. He's going to be getting a clean frag now. Well, that's not clean, because ZenAku, knowing he was going to die, switches the shotgun, does the most amount of damage he's able to. Mega is now up for Raisy to collect. ZenAku should be using this time to get the rocket, the rev, the rail in a get position, but oh no, he didn't have the rocket, it seems. He didn't have it, and he actually gets the frag? How? How does he get the frag in the end?
After that first missed rail, that was so important. I thought that was going to be it. That's going to be 4-2 in favour of Raisy. And now ZenAku's looking so good. Raisy's really weak. Just trying to not just stand his ground, but just trying to decide from the audio cues how he wants to go about top mid and to try and recover. But
and this blind rocket that he just hit on Raisy as well, this could allow him to push for this mag, but he's deciding to be a little bit more safe. He knows the heavy timing this time around and he's going to just collect it. He still doesn't have a DLG, so he doesn't want to get too close yet. Oh, oh, there was almost an angle there. There it is, he hits it.
Good read there from Zen.
And another. If Raisy picks again, he'll hit another. 10 seconds for the Mega. ZenAku ideally wants to get a frag right before it. 1 minute to go, and Raisy, no armor to play with. All the armor in the map is going for ZenAku. Really great push, and going up through the TP. ZenAku uses the peeker to get yet another frag. There's a heavy pickup from ZenAku, and now it's a uphill battle for Raisy.
I like that from ZenAku as well. He knew both items were going to be up exactly the same time, roughly. Using the engine to try and solve a bit more. Will he be able to? He's going to go back away once again. And ZenAku's playing this so well at the moment. With the mind games with the item control so far. Only 45 seconds left. Raisy still quite far behind in terms of stack, as Raisy's going to have to push in at some stage. But both items are, again, about to appear any second now. ZenAku's going to go for the heavy, but Raisy's actually still trying to progress towards the heavy, or at least get some damage done before it's picked up.
Yeah, I liked Raisy's attempt. He knew he could back off at any time, but if ZenAku was to give him an inch, Raisy would take a frag. 20 seconds to go. ZenAku just trying to have the best possible defensive position right now. Raisy is just trying to do what he can with some spam damage, see if he can pull out the frag. 15 seconds to go. ZenAku hits yet another rail, and Raisy comes from him, but the defensive rocket by ZenAku. Raisy still gets the frag though, with 100 HP left, 5 seconds to go, and the game is tied up. Oh, ZenAku gets caught off guard, he's going up a jump pad, and oh, he's going to get the frag. No one yet.
Raisy with 12 HP, still somehow able to survive that last engagement. Now going into sudden death, still holding top mid, still trying to recover from the last engagement as well.
This is the first match of today. It's still the first map, and it's already so tense.
7 seconds until the heavy. Raisy now still has the inject, want to keep himself alive a little bit longer, depending on the next bout he takes. Zen's already there picking up the heavy, but he has time to also contest the Mega. Problem is, Raisy has that positional advantage. Looking to try and back away, and Zen looking to try and catch him and end it now with the LG. Backs away again. Defensive rockets coming out from Raisy. But look at the stack of ZenAku now is right now. Raisy dropping down, still trying to recover from the last couple of fights he's been taking against ZenAku, and sees that he's probably is going to contest a heavy straight afterwards. It's all about Raisy just trying to keep his distance, get some chip done before we can contest some of these items again.
And for ZenAku, he's just trying to catch Raisy off guard a little bit, but it's looking very hard to do. Good spam damage there by ZenAku to get more in the rail. He's going to try and close it out now. Can he find Raisy? Can he get the winning blow?
Oh, the defense from Raisy was so good there. We thought that was going to be
sneaking away.
Literally, yeah, the final frag, but Raisy does somehow get away from that, and ZenAku's looking so healthy, and this could be the final frag here, depending on where Raisy's going to position himself. He's backed away, nicely done as well. Didn't want to stay out of his comfort zone.
Okay, now it's the chance for ZenAku. He has to push in. Let's see. Doesn't go for the shot just yet. Doesn't land that one. He has still the peeker. Mega coming up in 3 seconds. He's trying to make sure Raisy doesn't do any damage on the Mega, but he doesn't feel comfortable in going for the Mega with Raisy there, it seems. He wants to either bait Raisy for going for the Mega or give him the Mega so he can take the heavy, but Raisy, he sees an opportunity. He takes everything. There's the heavy for Raisy, Mega for ZenAku, and now Raisy has been given an opportunity. And as we say, as soon as Raisy is given an inch, he takes the whole map for himself, and Raisy edging that one out from ZenAku.
For defense from Raisy there, how on earth he managed to get out of that situation near the murder hole, I don't know. Like the stack difference, the fact that he was just playing around with ZenAku around that area and was able to take that 50-50, take the risk. And what I loved about that as well towards the end was Zen knew that Raisy was going to go straight for the heavy. The only thing he could do is go for the Mega. He didn't get time to go for the light, but Raisy was around that light area just in case if he's trying to come up here. Yeah. But in the end though, ZenAku so close. We would have thought, or actually assumed, but that was definitely his for the taking.
Yeah, I think Raisy just smelled the hesitation on ZenAku when ZenAku wanted to go for the Mega, but he was a bit scared because Raisy was on top, and the killer instinct came in Raisy. He just saw an opportunity and he took full advantage, and he won the first map because of it.
Certainly did. I suppose there was a chance for ZenAku to try and chase him down at the end, but I don't think he was 100% sure on the stack difference, but also at the same time trying to make sure to get those items. But definitely the changing factor with those two important rails coming up from that top light towards the heavy area, and as soon as ZenAku consumed those two rails from Raisy, he knew that he was in a world of trouble.
Yeah. And I mean, the end, it sort of comes down to what we were talking about. ZenAku is a very consistent player. He can be at the top of the world. And I said his only weakness is really his confidence. And I think that kind of showed with the hesitation that he had, like with the last second decision of not going for that Mega. As soon as you hesitate versus a player like Raisy, he's going to take full advantage.
Yeah, you can kind of tell he felt it in his loins, didn't he? But he was not panicking, so to speak, but he was just trying to be as safe and as consistent as possible. But the only problem was it was just those two rails from Raisy, which was the literally the changing factor of the game, and ZenAku knew that was it. And you can see from his face as well, he literally had the first map in the bag. But it doesn't matter though, we still got potentially 2 more maps coming up next.
And the matchups in this one will be very interesting.
It should be. I want to go to the last map to see the Clutch versus Nyx myself, I'm not going to lie, but same. I think everyone else wants to anyway.
Because I love when the champions are like just very different movement styles and just very different stacks, because that brings a whole like different level of gameplay that we usually see, because it's when it's like 2 lights versus each other. The game is usually slow, even though they're the fastest champions in the game, just because they're so balanced, right? Yeah. So when there's such big imbalances between the champions, the game gets very interesting. That's what I want to see. I'm
quite interested, but Raisy selected a clutch on Runes rather than Awoken, because we know that it's... Because people have seen it so much on Awoken, maybe ZenAku's got a good idea on how to try and counteract it, and that's why he selected it for Runes instead. But before we even get that far, and if we do get that far, we are going to head into the second map. It will be on Awoken, as Raisy's coming up 1-0 in the series. We're starting off again from Raisy's perspective, using the piercing sight straight off the bat to get a good idea of exactly what ZenAku plans at the very beginning of this matchup, just collecting all the weapons in his arsenal. Pick up the hourglasses to get ready for that piercing sight straight away, has to back away again. And ZenAku knows that more times than not, Raisy's going to be hanging around those hourglasses, especially around the curve, around the LG, and to make sure just to keep his distance and also keep him away from that. And the big advantage that ZenAku has in this matchup is that Visor has no movement ability and he has no way to escape. He has his wallhack ability and that is it. So ZenAku should have a big advantage in this match. It's up to him to be aggressive enough to be able to take a complete advantage of it. And we'll see how that plays out. Raisy will try to hang around, you know, higher ground positions with escape routes. And ZenAku will usually be the one on the driver's seat trying to make aggressive decisions. 1 minute in, so far in the second map. Both players still trying to stabilise control one way or another, as Raisy just laying rockets down, and he's railable, and ZenAku takes him down still. Yeah, a little bit of a surprise there. ZenAku just stood his ground and just waiting for the moment to happen, and he hits another good rail there, using the spits to do additional damage. The problem is though, ZenAku were just waiting for the rotation from Raisy, and Raisy clocked onto that as soon as he saw that early defensive rocket coming out from Raisy. ZenAku now looking to try and go for that recovery rotation, managed to pick up the light and the health bubble, so at least he can be almost back to his default stack. And now Heavy will be up first only by a few seconds, but at this point ZenAku's just looking for top mid control and the Mega, and maybe push him into that choke point. I'm still slightly amazed that Raisy picked that, because usually when it comes to those kind of situations, if Raisy is railable in any sort of way, he will not pick the angle, he will not risk it. That time around he did, and well, he paid the price. ZenAku now completely in the driver's seat, and if Raisy drops for that heavy in 10 seconds, ZenAku will instantly drop on him and get another frag potentially. Let's see if Raisy actually decides to drop. He will probably just try to wait to see what ZenAku does himself. Because as Visor, you cannot be the one doing the aggressive decisions. You just have to react to what your opponent does, basically. You certainly do indeed. Picking up each other's items, but it's Zen again with that positional advantage. Hasn't really got much rail ammo yet, but he's working on that, not a problem. And it's actually gotten trapped underneath. Doesn't hit the first rail, it's just trying to get literally a slight peak and a bit of damage onto him, but both players now fighting for that top of control. Both items are coming up very shortly here. Raisy still trying to hold it down, trying to pushing back with the LG, but it does mean Zen may have to leave it. But it seems like Raisy now looking to go for the heavy. Raining down the split as well, good use of the rockets, and hits him with another rocket as well. Doesn't really get him both, but Raisy does mean that he's going to pick up both his items.
Yeah, I mean, both the items just really bring him to starting stack, so it's still fine for ZenAku, but we could see in that fight how much more aggressive Raisy naturally is in ZenAku, because ZenAku did the initial damage, but Raisy kept pushing and pushing, and managed to bully ZenAku out of the room for long enough for him to get the heavy. If Raisy was the one on Sorlak and ZenAku had the visor, I think ZenAku would be in a world of trouble.
Certainly would be indeed. Good rail there from Raisy just to try and keep ZenAku back. That tribot was almost as good. The Mega is up, and ZenAku now needs to really be careful about the rotation he's going to make so far. Raisy got clear sight onto Zen. Just using that tribot to see if Raisy's at that choke point, but now he's got an idea that he is top mid. Nord has to back away again, but it's actually pushed away and actually decided to push a lot more aggressively. Of course, Raisy's much weaker and Heavy is up, and even though Raisy is going to be there, he's not going to be there in time to lay any damage down to contest for that Heavy.
I want to see if ZenAku can start being a little bit more aggressive and taking advantage of Sorlak's stack and movement. But so far, he's being a bit conservative still with his gameplay, and we know he likes to play risk-free game. He does try to do some cheap damage at the end. And Raisy is left to just basically leave the premises.
He hasn't got any rockets left.
And ZenAku not pressuring at all at this heavy. I don't really like the move that ZenAku did just now. He definitely needed to pressure that, because now he gave Raisy both of the items. And Meg is going to be up soon, and Raisy, oh, he catches him off guard. Doesn't really do that much damage, but it's enough to guarantee a free Meg health pickup.
Yeah, at least lay down a little bit of pressure as he goes flying across to the rockets. Heavy's up in the next few seconds, and it seems like Zen won't be there to contest it. Well, technically he is, but a very difficult angle for him to dish any damage onto Raisy. So we're just past the halfway stage, just one apiece so far. A lot of low frag gains, both players leaving little room for error, just to play as perfect as possible without giving each of their opponent any kind of advantage in this matchup. As Zen just hang around the rockets at the moment, waiting early for this heavy, 6 seconds until it appears. He's got a feeling or read that Raisy probably is around that area. Now definitely knows after what he just saw there. Heavy will get picked up, and now Mega will be up in the next 15 seconds.
And it's mostly Raisy just rotate. Oh, he comes up with jump at visor and takes a lot of damage for it. So ZenAku, oh, he decides to leave, and Raisy comes back in and he gets another frag and the Mega for himself. Yeah, I don't know, I think Raisy just read that perfectly. He realized when ZenAku was going to leave the room, took the position for himself, even though ZenAku thought he was going to not go for it anymore.
Oh, just barely missed
I
that.
think Raisy got all of the major items for the past 3 minutes. Which is weird in this matchup. Usually the Sorlak player is the one controlling the items due to the innate advantages that he has in this matchup, but it's all about Raisy.
Well, this is the thing with the piercing sight. He could use it to prep a little bit better for these items, but he's had all the audio cues he needs, so he's just been using it to try and catch what ZenAku's going to do on spawn. Try and clean up some of his frags. Can use it again, realise he's still at that choke point, rotating back around onto the rail. Knows that ZenAku's, the rail there. Knew that ZenAku was trying to contest the heavy from the high ground, from that rail area. He's still here, still following him as well. Jimena taken down, there's some good rockets, but the thing is though, ZenAku's weak, but not weak enough for Raisy to continue to make that challenge, as now he can continue to be proactive as well. Picked up the Mega whilst trying to at least keep the pressure onto Zen. Zen just trying to get away, just barely manages to get around that corner onto the LG. ZenAku just doing his best to stay alive. That was a good first rail there from Zen, just to put some pressure back on. Some good tribot as well. Will have to give up for this heavy, but is in a much better situation than he was 20 seconds ago.
Although all of the items are still going the way of Raisy, and any bit of damage that Raisy does is a lot for ZenAku. This time around though, ZenAku can actually take the Mega for himself. One good aggressive move by ZenAku changed the pace of the game right now. We see the first major item ZenAku takes since like the 3rd minute or so. And now he opened up a new world of possibilities. He will definitely be appearing for the heavy and Raisy, as we can see. Just has to hang back, listen out for the timing. Not really going to be able to do any damage. And he will be playing a lot more defensive for the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, speaking of time, 2 minutes left. ZenAku now looking very healthy in terms of stack. A complete role reversal compared to what we saw for the last few minutes. ZenAku is now on the hunt. Got plenty of time to try and tackle down Raisy, wherever he may be. And it looks like he's going to use that mobility to try and catch up to Raisy, but doesn't in the end. Some good defensive rockets. Not a lot of damage, but enough to at least slow ZenAku down.
He just goes for, right before the item spawn, just go and see what damage you can do. If you take damage, that's fine. You can go back to the major item and stack back up. And that's what ZenAku is trying. Very good gameplay so far. Mega coming up. Let's see if ZenAku will now try to go very aggressive. He does. He hits the rail. And some more damage in the rail to finish it up. Tying up the game. 1 minute left. Heavy's up in the next 5 seconds. Will he appear? He knows Raisy likely has a railgun already, so he can't just go for it. But he's not even appearing. Will he try to see if the heavy is still up? Raisy also doesn't want to drop it. He does eventually do it in the end, but ZenAku has to know that Raisy does not have any other weapon besides the rail. He does not have the rocket, does not have the LG. He could have just dropped on Raisy right there. He decides to not push his luck, because Raisy can just, hit 3 rails in a row and kill him.
Like he just did, basically,
yeah.
near the TP with those 2 back-to-back rails. So we're back at 2 apiece. 30 seconds left. Could be another sudden death. There's now Zen just waiting for what Raisy's going to do next. Does have that spit used preemptively for some of these items as he sees fit.
Oh, good damage by Raisy
as well. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and he finds him again. Will Raisy pick? Will Raisy pick? He does, and he takes 100 damage. He's still in the cubby. ZenAku knows his stack should be still higher than Raisy. What move will he try to make right now?
It was a shame. Zen had the advantage as a stack, but not in position. He didn't want to take that risk. 15 damage there from the TP. We are going to go to another sudden death. Good rail there coming up from Raisy. Zen's backing away again. Heavy is going to be coming up shortly. Raisy's in position, but the problem is he's just a little bit too late to rain any rockets down. And now Zen just looking to back away again. Hasn't got any rockets to his name. His LG's looking a little bit low as well.
The movement from ZenAku is really important to make sure he could get the best position on the Mega first, and also not allow Raisy to do damage from P. And now he knows his stacks will still be a lot higher than Raisy, but Raisy is slowly chipping away ZenAku's stack. ZenAku will need to collect the rocket launcher. There we go, just needed some more ammo. And Raisy, even though he's not being able to take the items, he's always there to try and deal some kind of damage. And ZenAku, he wants a close range fight so badly, but Raisy just not giving it. That's a LG fight.
Oh, 150 damage from that
Completely
last LG battle. And now Raisy try to find that rocket defensively to try and throw him off in terms of speed and trying to get a little bit of damage done. Doesn't help at all, but gets a little bit done there as he went through the TP. A minute into sudden death now. Zen looking to see if he's going to rotate around the choke point from Mega, which he is not. Looking to see if he goes for the TP. He is having the reads, but Raisy's just not trying to feed him too much info here. As not too sure if something happened so far. Looks like Raisy is standing still, but we'll find out shortly from the admins.
Yeah, something must have happened. That's too bad, but I mean, the game is tied, so
it's going to be next frag wins, technically.
Yeah, there shouldn't be many issues with that. But so far, a really good game by ZenAku and Raisy. The control switched a few times, and we're still at the overtime with a 2-2 on the scoreboard. I think ZenAku definitely had a few more opportunities to get frag, but he seemed to hesitate when taking them, especially when he got the 2-1 and Raisy spawned, at the rail. And Raisy was very hesitant to drop for the heavy because he knows if I drop for the heavy, I only have the rail. So he was kind of scared that ZenAku would drop on him, but ZenAku decided not to do it just yet. Maybe I think I would call it like a big opportunity miss right there. I think it's ZenAku. If you rewatches the VOD, you will realize that he could have won the game there.
Yeah, it's all about closing out these maps, isn't it? And you saw I think Zen did have obviously a stack advantage. He had positional advantage as well. It's just a matter of when he was going to push on in. And you kind of feel like for ZenAku as well, he did have an issue, way back in the past. He was a little bit too passive for closing out some of these frags. But we're not seeing it at all anymore, during the first 7-8 minutes. It's more towards the end of the map.
Yeah, so it's like it's that confidence problem, right? He doesn't want to. He's not completely sure whether he's going to get the frag or not, so he decides not to attack. But he's managed to fix it for most of the game. But when at the closing moments, like you're saying, is when the tension is really high, the pressure is on. So he probably still has those confidence issues right at the end.
So we're just looking to see exactly what's happening so far. I think Raisy did have an issue at the time. I think Zen realised that straight away. So I think we will be coming back to us, and we're just going to wait until exactly what's going to be corrected, and then we're going to continue on from there. I'm not too sure how this is going to work. Of course, it could be, you know, next frag wins. It was going to be next frag wins anyway, because it was sudden death.
Yeah, just sudden death.
So we'll find out very shortly anyway, and we'll keep you guys updated, of course. But for what we saw so far, we know that Zen had the advantage. We had the advantage in the position, stack, it was going to be for the next set of items. But we've seen how good Raisy's defense has been. Yeah. And I think a good example was towards the end of that last map.
Yeah, definitely. ZenAku had the advantage at the end of last map, but then hesitation costed him the game, and you know, every time Raisy just keeps hitting. Raisy, every time he sees someone hesitate, he just goes in for the kill. And we've seen this throughout this match as well. Even in this map, where ZenAku could have pushed a bit more, but he didn't, so that made Raisy just push him instead and get a couple of kills. Even at the end, ZenAku could have gotten already the frags. I don't know. We'll see how ZenAku adapts to it, or if Raisy now knows. Because like this kind of break time for the players will help them a lot, because now they know exactly how the other players playing that map, and they can adapt to it at the reset, basically. Yeah, exactly. And speaking of reset, we are going to restart the match, but it's literally going to be next frag wins, because it was sudden death anyway, so we're just going to carry on from the very beginning. But whoever gets the first frag will take this second map. And if ZenAku wins the second map, we will go to a third and final map on Ruins. If Raisy wins, then of course he's going to win the series outright 2-0, and then we will be going to our next match. It was just typical that it had to be during the sudden death moments and not any other moment. Yeah, that's actually funny. But I like it. Sudden death is really cool. And I think ZenAku has a sort of an advantage, right? Because the Sorlag at the start, he has a lot of mobility, he has more stack, and he has... depends whether we want to start with the starting shotgun or not, but he can just go for him immediately, and I think he definitely has an advantage. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see indeed. We're just going through the replays just to keep you guys updated what actually occurred during that second map. It was 1-0 at the very beginning with Raisy peeking and trying to get a little bit more damage with the rail, and then ZenAku took a lot of time to try and find that second frag. The second frag being those two back-to-back rails at the bottom TP, which was just ridiculous in itself. And you made a very good valid point as well, and I was thinking the same. It's just the fact that at the very beginning, after he took Raisy down, he didn't have the weapons in his arsenal. He could have took advantage of the fact that he only had rail in hand, and even then, he should be even more confident to take that battle and take it up close range.
Yeah, I think the only thing he was maybe worried about was if Raisy had spawning the shotgun, so maybe he could have that shotgun. Yeah, but it's still fine. He could just push in and try to go for the shaft fight, because there's no way Raisy can kill him with like 2 long-range shotguns at that point. So I think it was just a bit of a confidence problem there. And I hope he adapts, because I want to see the third map.
Yeah, I know. I think we're all looking for that as well. I want to see how Raisy plays with his clutch and runes against, you know, a top-tier player such as Zen, as we're just going through still. And another thing I want to talk about as well, Raisy had full control of the items for a good few minutes. ZenAku had good defense. He was constantly trying to chip away on a number of occasions. He knew, and I wouldn't say Zen was predictable, but Raisy has some good reads on where he's going to be, using that tri-bolt for top mid, knowing that he's always looking for a positional advantage rather than, you know, lurking elsewhere and making sure to try and keep Zen low. But both players' defense have been very strong. I think Raisy's been a little bit stronger, and that was the back-to-back rails we were talking about earlier at the TP. And yeah, there's so many occasions Zen could have closed out some of these frags, but it's like I said before, with Raisy being unpredictable with his recovery rotations, he's made it for ZenAku really tough to try and get that final frag.
And as you said, like Raisy had control for a lot of the game, but it's very hard for a Visor, even with the piercing side, to catch up to a Sorlag, especially with the movement. Raisy tried, he was really aggressive, and eventually he was a bit too aggressive, and ZenAku managed to get control back and get the frag for himself.
Yes, it's just a matter of time at the moment, and if you're just wondering, just to let you know again, but the match will be restarted, but it's going to be the first frag wins. Zen winning it will mean we'll go to map number 3. Raisy's still coming up 1-0 in the series in this best of 3, so if Raisy takes that first frag, then it will mean that it will be a 2-0 sweep for Raisy here. As right now with the admins, they're just discussing how this is going to go, how this is going to pan out, and then just continue on from there, and then we'll be able to go ahead and continue with that second map. But it's incredible how ZenAku's been playing against Raisy so far. We talked about how he's been closing the gap a little by little.
I thought the advantage was going to be much higher for Raisy.
Okay, well, I've just heard in my ear that actually we're not now going to go to first frag wins. It's going to be a completely full reset, so I'm happy about that.
Okay. Yeah, we get 10 more minutes. And I mean, it makes sense they would agree to that, right? They're teammates, they're friends, and they'd rather play the full match than try to gamble it on like the 1 frag wins. Sadly, because I would prefer the 1 frag wins because I want to see like max drama.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I don't. These two players are very humble, like, and, like, as well as being teammates as well. They're not gonna, try and like mess each other up in any way, shape, or form. So it does make perfect sense. And you kind of feel like with first frag wins, you talk about the, in terms of what could happen at the start. Of course, with Sir, like with his mobility, obviously he'll probably pick up the light with the Mega straight away if he gets a similar spawn. Of course, with Raisy with piercing sight, he can get that first rail if. For example, ZenAku's trying to get the weapons in his arsenal and predicts him to go through TP. There's a lot of little things here and there at the beginning where that one frag could cost a lot.
Raisy would have to use it instantly, just because he knows how much of a disadvantage he would be in. You need to use the piercing sight defensively immediately, just to try and run away from ZenAku, if that was the first frag wins.
As you can see, both players are getting ready to go into game. We'll be going back onto Awoken, so it will be a full reset. Raisy's coming up 1-0 in the series, and I do like the fact that they haven't gone, let's continue with just the first frag wins. It would be, on a normal day, but for Zen and Raisy, it's nice that they're going to do a full reset just to make sure it's a completely plain level field.
Yeah, and I wonder if their playstyle will now shift a little bit. Especially ZenAku. I'd like to see him play a lot more aggressive.
I think also it will be interesting to see who's going to adapt better from that previous matchup on Awoken and now go back into it. So back to map number 2 once again, a completely fresh start in this best of 3. It's going to be starting off from Raisy's POV once again. As already just picking up the LG, picking up the light, and does have the Mega from earlier. We can see if Zen is around top mid. He's actually gone back to top mid again. As he still has that piercing sight to use if he's not too sure on the prediction on where ZenAku is going to go, but he's just going to walk slowly behind towards the rockets. Still needs to get the weapons, of course. He's got a rail as of yet, still early days. Now using that piercing sight to see where Zen's going to come from to try and contest for this heavy, but realises that Zen's too late. He's going to pick that for free. Not too bad.
If the pace is anything like the previous match they were playing, it might just be first frag wins.
It could be. Like, you're not wrong there.
1-0 until 10 minutes.
I like this from Raisy as well. Even though he had to go through the choke point to get Mega, he's denying him the rail, which is huge. And I'm sure Zen won't mind at all having to abuse his combat skills to get him close range there. As Raisy still just biding his time.
ZenAku, as sort of like, knows that the biggest advantage for Raisy is if he gets the rail to combo that with the piercing side, because that's where you get max value from Visor. So ZenAku, just defending that part of the map is actually a good strategy. So instead of going more aggressive and trying to abuse his movement, he's playing to his opponent's weakness. Let's see if he will try to catch him now. Oh, he has to put... Oh my god, so much damage with a tribal. Then ZenAku is forced to run away instead. 100 damage just like that.
Yeah, Raisy's just massively slowed down the tempo of this matchup in comparison. As we're 2 minutes in, items are almost in sync, only by a couple of seconds. But it's a matter of which one of the two are going to try and go for both items, or each other's items, considering. But at some stage, Zen did have to give up the rail area, so he did manage to get a rail gun for himself. Mega is up, delaying it just for a little bit so far. Heavy has been picked up by Raisy. Zen will have the timing of that. Mega is still up though. It does manage to pick it up in the end. That's going to be huge, but good rail there from Zen. Another good rail as well. He's not going to go for the third. He does want to outstay his welcome around top mid. But it does mean he has the advantage even after picking up this both those items. Yeah,
those two rails were just basically saved ZenAku for the next 30 seconds. Now he's actually able to push for the heavy, doesn't hit the shot, so he has to back up. And wow, he hits another of those rails. Rails are really saving ZenAku in this match, because items are all going in the way of Raisy. This time around, ZenAku well positioned for the Mega, not doing much spam damage. There it is, finally coming up. Let's see if now he feels comfortable with the stack he has, because now he should know that he's outstacking the Visor.
Yeah, I was speaking to ZenAku earlier and I was saying to him, his defense has been looking so good. Zen, here's that piercing sight. Knows not to push too aggressively until he knows the time is right.
Raisy coming up aggressive, taking a lot of damage, 100 damage already, and ZenAku knows Raisy's trap, goes in for the kill and gets the first frag in this match.
Beautiful, took a bit of time there, Ince, but 3.5 minutes in, ZenAku does get that first frag. And Raisy.
I wonder if he's regretting agreeing to the full match now.
In the back of his mind, maybe. I know I definitely would, but I suppose when you're in this high-pressure situation, you know, knowing the fact that you've got to win 2 back-to-back maps in the best of 3, I'm sure it's the last thing on his mind as ZenAku.
The hard thing now is that as Raisy advisor, even with the piercing sight, it's really hard to catch up to a sword like that. Oh, wow, did that racket do 100 damage?
Wouldn't be the first time we've seen that. We're definitely sorting deep. Well, comes in, catches with the choke point as well. Gonna hit the shotgun, hits it again, 2-0. And look at the stack Zen has. It only on 18 HP, 15 armor. Oh, as he picked up the light, a direct comes out from Raisy to get that first initial frag for himself. He's gonna be able to pick up the heavy. Mega's gonna be up soon. Zen should be able to pick that up, but he's only got a rail in hand. Needs to be so careful as he does get away. But Raisy looking to be aggressive, but Zen knew that he's going to potentially rotate all the way around to try and deny him of these weapons and diving straight on across the rail. Zen going to realise this, misses the rail, but ZenAku's in a world of trouble and is now so weak, still trying to get away, still trying to recover as well. And he's got that piece in sight he used, knows exactly where Zen is. There's a matter of where he's going to go to next, but look at this though, ZenAku has already recovered almost back to his default stack, but in the end, though, he's lucky to get out of that situation considering the amount of health he had after that previous rail.
The most important thing is that Raisy knows if he wants to chase ZenAku right now, he can, because ZenAku still does not have the rocket launcher. I'm sure Raisy is keeping track of it because he was keeping control of it for, you know, the past 30 seconds, just hoping ZenAku would fall for the trap going for that rocket launcher.
There's that, but ZenAku's most probably going to keep his distance anyway. But you are right, though. As long as he continues to deny the rockets, then it's just one less thing for Raisy to worry about.
Well, now ZenAku should have them, and Raisy knows he missed out on a little bit of a chance, but he's still in control of the map. Not if ZenAku keeps landing those shots.
Yeah, he's just chipping away at Raisy so far, but still has a bit more HP in comparison. Is now Zen is just daring for Raisy to push on forward. Good try, but good rocket as well coming out from Zen, but the problem is Raisy ends up picking up the heavy and he needs to be so careful. Manages to dodge his way out of that last rail. If that hit, we could be seeing a completely different game here, but managed to hit that one, is going to be diving straight on in, but of course with the mobility, it comes out with the LG anyway. Mega's going to be up any second now. It will be picked up, still somehow has to survive, and the LG from ZenAku was ridiculous. And he picks it with the rail from top mid as well. Great stuff there from Raisy to equalise the scoreline.
I thought after the rail shot, Raisy would not dare to push in, but he does. ZenAku picking up the heavy midway through the fight, and the beautiful rail. So Raisy equalizing the score. ZenAku does not have much tech to play with, trying to focus on getting that LG as well for himself. Great shot, and I think ZenAku went to, yes, oh no, he just went to the TP. Thought he had been pushed to the jump pad, so nope. Heavy coming in, and ZenAku, he has nothing to play with. And Raisy knows he's trying to take this opportunity to try and push him, but ZenAku being very fast and nimble with his movement. Not anywhere to be seen. There is one pick rail. ZenAku playing with 10 HP. Can Raisy find him? Can Raisy get the kill? Trying to sneak up, and ZenAku does bring out the huge rocket to the face of Raisy, but Raisy still gets the kill, and ZenAku from spawn stealing that Mega away.
Got a piercing sight in hand, though.
Oh wow, there's a piercing sight.
Could you imagine he managed to pull that off as well? And Zen's still very weak, but remembers there's still 2.5 minutes left. He's only one frag behind, so they've got plenty of time to work with. As ZenAku, on a number of occasions, has been knocking on death's door. Good first rail there from Raisy. Just trying to see if he's going to push up top mid, but realize on the tri-bar he is not. Now he is, and now it's good first rail there from Zen. That's exactly what he needed. Gets a little bit of damage done from that last rocket. Using the spit, and actually managed to get him, so at least he's going to do a tiny bit of damage onto Raisy. He gets a little bit more as he walks straight back into it. Good first rail there from Raisy, looking for the second to see if he goes back over the jump pad again. And he does not, so back to Wayne tries to recover for himself.
ZenAku is definitely going to get railed there. Yep, there it is, and he doesn't even get position on the mag. And Raisy is he's just focused on chasing ZenAku right now. He doesn't. And ZenAku tries to go for a counterplay, but Raisy positions himself on the mech before ZenAku can do anything else. 4 seconds for the heavy. Will ZenAku hang around here any longer? Raisy just chases him through the TP. Should be able to get yet another frag. Nope, not yet. He decides not to switch for the railgun. Goes for some guaranteed damage with the machine gun. Not quite getting the frag just yet, as we only have 1 minute remaining now on the clock.
Great read from Raisy as well, just knowing that he's most probably going to leave the heavy and go straight back round the LG. Zen is back top mid, he's looking to try and get some chip, but sadly he can't at the moment. Needs to be really careful. Now that he's missing some of his rails, it could cost him a frag at some stage. ZenAku's backed away again, heavy's up in 5 seconds. He's going to see if Zen's going to try and attempt not to go for it, but to at least do some damage with the rail whilst he contests that heavy, but sadly he's not in a position to. Raise is more than ready and prepared for anything which is going to come his way from Zen.
Yeah, with 40 seconds remaining, we see Raisy already taking a very defensive position. As you know, ZenAku is likely well positioned at the Mega, and from where Raisy is right now, he has an escape route, regardless from whether angle ZenAku comes. Oh, there's so much damage without taking any.
And he misses the first rail as well. Hits the second at least, so it's going to give him a tiny bit of leeway.
Okay, so this gives ZenAku a little bit of a chance. Some stack, 15 seconds to go, and he gets railed immediately. Now ZenAku just has to run for him. Can he actually find him? 5 seconds to go, and Raisy just rocket jumping around, does not let back up, and ZenAku is forced to do a very desperate rocket jump, and that's going to be the win for Raisy, 2-0, beating his Maestro teammate.
Yeah, good weapon selection at the end from Raisy. Yeah. He knew that if he did try to rocket jump over, he's got the LG in hand to keep him at bay and doesn't even need to take that fight. And it will be Raisy who wins that by 1 frag, and you know, both those games were just incredible. I suppose you could say technically 3. We had 3 maps, all 3 of them go to sudden death, all 3 maps of course going finally by 1 frag, and it just shows how tight it is between the two.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it to be this close. I knew ZenAku could, you know, reach Rage's level, but ZenAku played really incredible. But I think in the last map especially, if ZenAku played more aggressive, maybe he could have had more chances to overtake the lead a few times. But Raisy with perfect defensive positioning and gameplay, especially at the end, the last minute from Raisy. I mean, there was really no way for ZenAku to get in. ZenAku tried rocket jumping with weird angles, but Raisy always ready for everything.
Certainly was indeed. That's had a little bit more item control in comparison to Zen, but it's like I said before, Zen's defense is some of the best I've seen so far, and the one good read we saw from Raisy at one stage was towards the end when you saw Zen was prepped early for the heavy. He was a little bit weaker. He knew that in terms of stack he couldn't continue contesting, and the same time Raisy went through the TP was the same time that ZenAku rotated all the way around to get to LG to recover from the previous engagement. Almost managed to take him down as well, but still at the same time knew that the heavy was guaranteed. Yeah, and I mean, I guess the 2-0 doesn't really surprise anyone in the end, but all the games were close and it could have gone either way, the maps. And especially if we had had the sudden death, that would have gone either way. The fact that all 3 went to sudden death was just ridiculous. I think that's the first series I've ever casted where all 3 maps went to sudden death. It's normally at 1, maybe 2, because both players are leaving little room for error. But yeah, it was incredible. It's especially the first series you ever cast with 3 maps that go to sudden death, and it's 2-0 in the end. Yeah. Somehow we made it physically possible to have 3 maps in a 2-0 series, but I still think it's humble both of them to not go for that first frag, just do a complete full reset. And you could see that it was pretty much almost the same circumstance. The only difference was in that second game was how Raisy slowed down the tempo so much during the first few minutes to try and throw ZenAku off at the beginning. And then at the end, he slowed down the tempo once again just to have the best defensive gameplay possible, and he clutched out the win. Certainly did indeed, and Raisy's going to be pretty happy about that. He'll be going into winners finals to meet either Maxter or Chain. But speaking of Raisy though, we'll be speaking to the man himself for an interview to see what he thought about that game.
Well, hello Raisy, congratulations on winning the last game. It was pretty tight between both of you, both teammates. You know each other very well, you've been practicing a lot, I guess. So how did you manage to finally beat him and go through the next round?
As you said, we practiced a lot lately against each other, so he knows me very well, how I play, what are my comfort zones on the map, and what positions I take, in what ways I play. Also is familiar with my champion pool, like which ones I prefer against which ones. So he was prepared, I feel like. He put up a really good fight. I had a really tough time beating him. The reason I could was probably because those few opportunities that I had a chance to turn around sometimes his control, I managed to do that. Sometimes, for example, on Awoken, my piercing sight came in very handy, managed to hit rails I would normally not really hit because I would not have the information or the right angle, but with the piercing sight I could adjust these things and find opportunities to turn around the control and gain the advantage.
Yeah, it's true, and it was a great game. It was pretty tight, and there will be other great games, and once especially the final of the upper bracket. Who do you prefer, Maxter or Chain?
I don't actually have a preference. I have played against Maxter at QuakeCon, and that was in my favor. So hopefully, if it happens again, it will again be in my favor. But against Chain, I don't exactly remember when I played against him last time. Probably sometime online during a study tournaments. I don't really have a preference, but I'm just hoping I'll be in good shape against whichever.
Thank you very much for your words, and again, congratulations on going through to the uppers bracket final. Back to you guys.
Thank you much, guys, for a lovely interview there from Raisy.